And Islam has always been white supremacy's problem. And in fact, why did they weaponize hip hop? The real reason they weaponized hip hop was to mute the influence of the Nation of Islam in the black community. The reason hip hop was weaponized was Farrakhan. The Farrakhan factor in particular is the reason hip hop was commandeered and weaponized to mute the influence of the Nation of Islam on black culture.
I have said frequently, and it often causes a bit of consternation, that I believe the rappers in particular are the gods of the black community. That causes oftentimes bewilderment, consternation, and even a sense of a visceral rejection. Yeah, that nigga crazy.
Truth to power.
Lil Wayne, the god of the black community.
Speak truth to power.
Well, part of the visceral rejection of that is we don't understand what God is. And I think it's very important that we understand that, so that the hip hop community really grasps your role. A God, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, is a being of power and force. Now that doesn't necessarily indicate righteous or unrighteous. A God is a being of power and force. Now you can deploy that power righteously or unrighteously. After all, the devil is actually a god. The devil is the god of this world.
Come on. All right.
So when I say the rappers, and in particular, the hot rapper of any given moment, communally, the rappers are the gods of the black community, by which I mean there is no demographic in black America. There is no community in black America that has the power that rappers have, not just to influence, but to direct and even dictate the contours of black life in America. I believe, and more than that, I believe I can scientifically show that there is no body of people who has more power to shape black American culture and black life
Talk, man.
in America like the rapper. Why do I say that? And what are the implications of that? And what burden does that place on you? And what are the consequences for failing to live up to that burden? So we're talking about power, atonement, and hip hop. Whoever controls hip hop controls the contours of black life and black behavior in America. Now, a fuller truth is this: whoever controls entertainment, the entertainment industry, music and cinema or television, whoever controls the entertainment industry controls the contours, has the power like no one else to define the contours of black behavior, because they almost single-handedly have the power to shape and control black thought, and in so doing, shape and control black behavior, because behavior is derivative of thought processes. So they who control the entertainment industry more than anybody and anything else that we are consciously aware of, control black thought and therefore controls black behavior, and most efficiently shapes black life. Brothers and sisters, this is really a matter of practical value, because so much of our life, unbeknownst to us, so much of our daily reality is influenced by our music. Black male-female relationships are influenced by our music in ways that most of us aren't aware, because our music shapes our thought process as black men are thinking of black women, because music shapes our thinking of as black women towards black men. Music and cinema, the entertainment industry, more than anything, shapes our expectations of love, relationship, family, marriage. And so, is there any wonder that marriage in Black America is an epic fail?
But do you know, if you are the gods of the black community, only God can make a God. If you are the gods of the black community, it's because God made you the gods of the black community. And do you know why God would make you musicians the gods of the black community? Because God himself is a musician.
Say it again.
God himself is a musician. That too is a scientific fact. Quantum physics, the study of the quantum world, the world of atoms, the microscopic subatomic world, proves that God is two things. God is a mathematician and God is a musician. God is a, how do we know God is a mathematician? Because every single thing he created is mathematically
Yes, sir.
ordered.
Yes, sir.
He created this universe on mathematics. And just a scientific observation of the universe proves he's a mathematician. The same observation proves he's a musician. Because everything in existence vibrates. And everything vibrates at a frequency. And everything does a cosmic dance.
Wow.
the most minute particles. We, in fact, this human body,
Right.
we are organized vibrations. And the vibrations, the frequency that of God's creation, they call it in science, in musicology, consonants. Right? You musicians, you know the difference between consonants and dissonance. Frequency-wise, sound-wise, God's music is rhythmic, it's consonants. The very vibrations of creation prove that God created his universe with mathematics and with music. I love this particular representation of the ancient Hindu god Shiva. In this case, Shiva Nataraja. Shiva, the god Shiva as the Lord of cosmic dance. Now this particular representation perfectly captures what I hope to demonstrate today. We have the Lord of cosmic dance surrounded or enclosed within a ring of fire.
Yeah.
The ring of fire being an ancient Indic tradition, the primal energy, the cosmic source of creation and destruction. Of his four hands, Shiva, the Lord of cosmic dance, his two upper hands. In the left, he has fire, Agni, or the personification of that primal energy, that cosmic fire. That is the source of creation and destruction. But what's important for our discussion is what's in his other hand, a drum. A small two-headed drum shaped like an hourglass. Now the significance of the drum in his right hand as the flame of fire in his left hand signifies the primal energy, the cosmic fire, as the source of creation and destruction. It's the drum that dictates the pattern or patterns plural of the cosmic fire as the cosmic fire goes through its processes of transformation into matter and creation. So the drum is the tool of creation, whereas the cosmic fire is the source of creation. The drum beat is what organizes that source into the various material manifestations of creation. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
It's the sound of the primordial drum. And it's a drum. I'm going to come back to that. A drum. So think right now trap music. I'm going to come back to that. Think right now the 808s. What people say, 80 MF and 8. Think of that. I'm going to come back to that. But let's stay with sheep right now.
All right.
The drum beat organizer determines the cadence, the rhythm of the bio dance. Everything in creation vibrates. We know by studying science, two things we can absolutely say that we know about God.
Right.
One, God is a mathematician. We can prove that through his creation. Everything, even seemingly random events in the cosmos, follow mathematical laws. God is a mathematician. We can prove that. Second thing we can prove about God, no matter what your religion, God is a musician. His creation. He is the author of the tune that the biology and all of creation dances to.
Yes.
But what is so important here for me, the cadence of the bio dance is determined by the sacred drum. There's a reason it's the drum, it's not a guitar.
Right.
It's not a violin. It's a drum in particular that organizes the cadences of this bio dance that everything organic engages in. Do you follow?
Yes.
So God as the chief musician, it would not seem strange that he will make musicians his vicar among the people,
Good God Almighty.
his deputy among the people. That's the power
Wow.
you have as
Never.
musicians in what is America's top musical genre. I didn't say musical,
Hip hop,
hip hop,
no.
Yes, sir.
not country, not
Number one.
rock.
Right.
The most popular, the most profitable, the most influential musical genre probably on the
All over the
planet
world. On the planet Earth.
Culture.
is hip hop.
Everything.
Right now.
It's
Revolution
an
China.
enormous amount of power
Yes, sir.
in your hand.
Talk, man.
If God made you the hip hop artist, the gods of the black community, it was for a righteous purpose. It
Wow.
isn't
Wow.
just for you to make all the dough, get all the chicks, do what you do,
Talk.
smoke all the weed.
Talk.
Right.
That ain't
Talk.
why.
Talk.
Why Allah, God bless you with
Right.
that power. But if you have that power and can use that power to advance God's cause, which is why he gave it to you.
Wow.
He intends you to use it to advance his cause. We'll get to what that is in a minute, inshallah.
Yes, sir.
Everything in nature vibrates. We are organized vibration. Albert Einstein said everything in life is vibration. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, he said. This is physics. By determining the frequency, the predominating frequency of anything, you can manipulate that frequency in a process called entrainment.
If you were blessed to view an EEG scan, you know, EEG scan an image of your brain and the firing of your neurons. If you were to view an EEG scan and music is played, certain music, you will witness a process they call entrainment. Entrainment. Entrainment is when your brain frequencies synchronize with the frequencies of an external source. In this case, the rhythm of music will cause our neurons to fire in a way that synchronizes with the frequency of the song. Do you follow? You can see the firing, the electrical firing. If you were blessed to witness an EEG, you will witness the initially seemingly random firing of electrical firing of the neurons, but as the song plays, you will see the various firings come into sync and start doing a dance. And the dance it's synchronizing with the music itself. And why that is important is because that is the basis of the ability to control human behavior with music. The music itself, when entrained, once you're able to entrain the mind, sync the mind with a particular frequency of the song, you can dictate the brain's frequency, and by dictating the brain's frequency, you can determine how even the biological organism functions. You don't believe that, do you?
Wow.
Let me give an example.
So pivoting back towards the weaponization of hip-hop and music overall, are there certain frequencies in music that can promote health and healing?
Absolutely.
And what are those frequencies?
So, I often mention, when I mention testosterone, I mention serotonin. I mention these two as the two biochemical sources of a man's drive for power. But serotonin, the brain chemical serotonin, is necessary for a healthy, for mental health for men and women. One reason women suffer from depression in numbers that men are. One of the reasons is the disparity in brain serotonin. Serotonin promotes mental health. 10 hertz. So see, God can use Beats by Dre as well as Satan can. So say this song I'm grooving to, 230 hertz is beamed into my right headphone, 220 is beamed into my left. That my brain was synchronized to a phantom 10 hertz. And 10 hertz is precisely the frequency that stimulates the production of serotonin.
But you know the most effective type of music in the science of behavior modification?
Classical. Okay.
Though it
Trap.
it is effective. But drum-based music.
There we
Trap.
go.
Trap.
Yes, sir.
Trap.
Because the most effective music is rhythmic music.
Yes, sir.
And it's most effective with rhythmic people. So the drum beat, the rhythm of a drum, this is why some of you may know the shamans, they are thrown into hypnosis through a drum beat.
Yes.
Drum pattern. So drum-based music, black music, hip-hop in particular, is the most effective in inducing entrainment. And the rhythm of that beat can sync with our biology.
Man, you teaching, man.
So black music, hip-hop,
Yes, sir.
is the most effective behavior modification tool.
Wow.
The most effective. So when I say the hip-hop community is the gods of the black community,
Yes, sir.
because you have the power of your
artistic form has a power unparalleled by anything in terms of shaping black life. You thought I was being hyperbolic. I was not. I was being scientific.
I would like to cite 2 articles that contextualize I think your question in this discussion. It speaks right to your question. The first is from Popular Science. Hip-hop bass lines could power implantable medical devices. This 2012 Popular Science article documents the success of University of Purdue scientists in creating a medical device that is not powered by a battery. It's implanted in the body, and that medical device is powered by the bass line of hip-hop music. Hip-hop music, the bass line, these doctors successfully powered a medical device with the vibration, the acoustic frequency emanating from the beat of hip-hop music. Now, they tried various music genres to power that medical device. It was hip-hop with its bass line that most effectively powered the device and healed, participated in the healing process of the body. What does that say? A number of things. This is an example of the divine power of music. Music is divine. This is an example of the divine power of hip hop. God comes to heal his people. God is a healer. The healing power of hip hop in particular. And it's important that they tested various genres of music, but nothing was effective in the empowering a batteryless medical devices like the rhythmic bass of hip hop. So hip hop by nature is divine. But when the devil gets his hands on it, when the devil takes that which is created divine and weaponizes it for his purpose, while rock arouses the animal in white people, hip hop arouses the divine in black people.
In ancient India, you observed Hindus chanting Om, the Hare Krishnas. Well, that's a modern bastardization of a very important truth of ancient India, which were black people. Religious chanting, which is done in the church, done in Eastern Buddhist and Hindu tradition. In the ancient practice, the chanting, the rhythmic words, that was a form of what we call today magic. Not magic as in David Copperfield, illusory magic, but magic in sorcery, in power over the forces of nature. The rhythmic chanting was the magic, the power, because it's the music that's the power. That's the source of religious hymnals in the Catholic Church. Now, Islam, the Quran is very rhythmic.
Yes, sir.
And Allah makes it clear to the Arabs, don't mistake this, has to go out of its way really to let the Arabs know, don't mistake this as such, which is the religious poetry of the pre-Islamic Arabs. And why was there this competition between the Quran and the poetry of the pre-Islamic Arabs? Because the poetry, the rhythmic chants of the ancient
Arabs were magic. They weren't just spoken word for entertainment purposes.
Right.
The rhythm of the spoken word was the source of the power to control the environment itself. So religious chanting is an aspect of exactly what I'm talking about. Even though in today's religiosity, everything is commercialized, everything is weak and whack. It lost its initial grounding, but the origin of religious chanting is in this very phenomenon I'm talking about, the power of rhythm to control life and environment.
Wow.
If Satan, our enemy, the white man, if he has weaponized music and frequency, if music and frequency is his weapon, his tool of evil, slide please, then God too knows how to use rhythm and frequency as a tool for God's purpose, because be clear, quantum physics tells us that God is not only a mathematician, God is a musician. Quantum physics tells us that because the peering into subatomic reality allows us to see the cosmic dance that all matter continuously engages in, and the tune that matter dances to is a tune written by God himself. So God is a musician, and his favorite servant David was the musician of God. David is Farrakhan.
But if I know you are the gods of the black community,
Yes, sir.
and I'm just your little brother,
Yes, sir.
No, too.
then your enemy knows you are the gods of the black community. Hip hop has been a beautiful black stallion. The question is, who's on the saddle of this beautiful black stallion? We are literally in the era of the sonic lobotomy. Our enemies have progressed from physical lobotomies, sticking ice pins in our brains to neutralize the black male. He progressed from physical lobotomies to chemical lobotomies, and now to sonic lobotomies, lobotomizing the black man and woman through our music.
Our music has been very scientifically weaponized against us by the military entertainment complex. You know the military industrial complex. You know the prison industrial complex. You need to know the military entertainment complex. Between world wars, the U.S. Navy, the National Defense Research Council, and the Rockefeller Foundation collaborated and funded a series of acoustic warfare studies, scientific investigations into the military use of rhythm and frequency for the purpose of psychotronic manipulation, manipulating the mind through electronic devices and electrical frequencies. The use of music for purposes of mind control utilizes this process of entrainment that was perfected under or during these acoustic warfare studies. The more effective way to induce entrainment, to synchronize the human organism,
to an external source is to use rhythmic music, especially for black people, because we are a rhythmic people. Our frequencies are rhythmic. And so rhythmic music is better able to entrain the black body to bring our biological frequencies in order under control, and that's how you can control melanated people with the very music that they listen to.
The significance of Beats by Dre, but in particular, headphones, they discovered the science. You may be familiar, you are musicians here. Binaural beats. Binaural, the phenomenon of binaural beats is very important. Binaural beats are, or a binaural beat, works like this. Via earphones, one frequency can be sent to one ear, say a frequency of 234 hertz.
Yes, sir.
And then the other earphone, a different frequency, say a frequency of 230 hertz, can be sent. There's a difference of what? 4 hertz. The brain will hear a 4 hertz frequency, and the whole brain will synchronize to 4 hertz. Even though the 4 hertz is a phantom, there's no actual 4 hertz beat, but the brain will hear the difference between the two.
Absolutely.
And synchronize to it. Now I'm using 4 hertz for a very specific reason. Scientists have discovered what they are calling the fear frequency. The frequency which they can set our mind on, and it will produce in us fear that we don't know the source of.
Whoa.
The fear frequency is 4 hertz.
Whoa.
And so through the science of binaural beats, which requires headphones to operate, they can create, when we're listening to Lil Wayne, we don't, on a Beats by Dre, we don't know that 234 is coming in this ear and 230 is coming in this ear. We don't know that.
No, we do not.
We just groove it. But we walk around in a black community. The black community is an ecology of fear. See, that's why everybody got a damn gun. We talk about haters. We rap about haters. Dude, ain't nobody checking for you. You really ain't got no haters, but we have this subconscious fear. We just think everybody out. Well, because we have a fear, the source of which we don't really know.
Wow.
The source is the manipulation of our own biochemistry through the weaponization of music.
Wow.
You know, it could be said with only a touch of humor to it that the hood is haunted. Black people don't play with ghosts, right? We don't mess around with ghosts. We're kind of scary when it comes to that. You know, that's why Candyman still got many of us spooked to this very day. But I wonder how many in here had an experience in your life that you believe was a paranormal haunting experience. I have people in my family who swear by it. You were working late at your job or in your home office one day, or you were home alone one summer night, and all of a sudden you heard something, and out the corner of your eye, you saw something. A gray or shadowy figure you believe was a ghost. You know your mind wasn't playing tricks on you because you felt the presence. Your body got cold shivers. You felt the hair stand up on your neck. Maybe you got a headache and felt nauseous. You had a real experience that wasn't your imagination. The question is, what was your experience? Slide, please. The inner cities across this country are bombarded with what they call low-frequency sound waves. Due to their often undetectable nature and due to the physiological effect that they have on the human body and the brain, the U.S. military has been working on, or had been working on, weaponizing low-frequency sound waves for years as an instrument of sonic warfare. As it turns out, and not surprisingly, it is the areas where black people concentrate that are most exposed to low-frequency sound waves. In fact, it is said that low-frequency waves are the common background noise in urban environments, as they are constantly emitted from road vehicles, industrial machinery, slow-moving vans, air conditioning units, heating and ventilation units. Slide, please. But there is a certain frequency, around 18 to 19 hertz, that under certain conditions can cause haunting effects by creating the sensory phenomenon mentioned above that are suggestive of a ghost or a poltergeist event. Y'all remember poltergeist? The feeling of a presence, the cold shivers, the hair prickling on the back of your neck. You can even see the ghost with your own eyes because the eyeball vibrates at the same frequency of 18, 19 hertz. And when the sound wave frequency syncs with your eyeball frequency, at that moment, a shadowy or ghost-like apparition will appear in your eye. So while the effects of the low-frequency sound waves are causing physiological disturbance in your body, the syncing of the sound wave with what they call the resonant frequency of your eye causes you and I to see a ghost. Scientists call this the ghost in the machine effect. So yes, there are ghosts haunting the hood. They even have found out how to lace our music with this fear frequency. They call this particular frequency the fear frequency of 18 to 19 hertz. And they found out how to secretly lace our music with this fear frequency. So yeah, there are ghosts haunting the hood. But this low frequency sound wave soaked environment does more than just spook black people by creating pseudo poltergeist experiences. It makes us physically ill.
It keeps the level of our stress hormone, cortisol, chronically high, which produces aches and pain and high blood pressure and lowered immune function. So urban black America is poor, depressed, sickly, even haunted. But none of this has happened by accident.
By this method, the military entertainment complex mastered sending the listener into particular frequency states. Neurologists would tell us, most of us on a daily basis, we function on a beta state of consciousness. The beta state is the alert state. Alpha state is a slower frequency, and we are awake but more relaxed than in beta. But theta is a frequency that's between 4 and 7.9 hertz. Theta, when we are in the state of theta, we are the most easily manipulatable.
Wow.
Why? Because the distinct feature of the theta state is the information, meaning verbal suggestion. This is where the lyrics of your songs come in. When the music sets the listener to theta state, meaning through binaural beats in particular, the brain frequency is between 4 and 7.9. The distinctive characteristic of that state is any verbal suggestion that comes to us, whereas while in normal state, a verbal suggestion such as Future in his song I Hate the Real Me, one of the hook of I Hate the Real Me is, I want to get as high as I can. I want to get as high as I can. I want to get as high as I can. A person like me who doesn't do drugs, in beta state, I hear that. It doesn't have an effect on me. Why? Because my left hemisphere filters verbal suggestion. The verbal material that comes to us, our left hemisphere filters it. And that which is agreeable with us, it will let in. That which is not agreeable, it will excise out.
Wow.
In theta state, which can be artificially induced through binaural beats by engendering a whole brain frequency of between 4 and 7.9.
Yes, sir.
Teach.
In theta state, something very specific happens. The left hemisphere, which is the filter of verbal commands, is deactivated.
Wow.
So the right hemisphere is able to receive any suggestion and make it a part of our thought process. So while in beta state,
Amazing.
I want to get as high as I can, don't have any effect on
Right.
me. But in theta state,
Right.
oh, that's impressive.
Yes,
That's
sir.
impressive.
Right.
And so there will be an inclination for me, well, I want to get high. Musical mind control.
Wow.
With music, they can manipulate a biochemistry. They can, with 10 by synchronizing our brains to 10 hertz, they can induce the release of brain serotonin, a very important
Yes, sir.
brain chemical. They know the frequency. They can induce the release of testosterone. They can inhibit the release of testosterone with music.
Whoa.
They can increase estrogen in men. They can decrease estrogen in men by music, by the manipulation of the frequency.
My.
The reason 4 hertz is the specific fear frequency, because 4 hertz stimulates serotonin's opposite, noradrenaline. Testosterone, the opposite of testosterone really is an estrogen. It's cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone that neutralizes the effect of testosterone. The opposite of serotonin is noradrenaline. 10 hertz is the magic frequency to stimulate the production of serotonin. The devil knows that. The devil knows how to stimulate good, healthy biochemistry with music. He also knows that 4 hertz stimulates the production of noradrenaline. And what's the difference between the two? It's important. Serotonin is one of the functions of serotonin is as a chemical lid on our passions. With a healthy dose or amount of brain serotonin, we are masters of our impulses rather than slaves of our impulses. We can control our passions, our appetites. Serotonin is necessary to put the brakes on our appetites. Noradrenaline, if serotonin puts the brakes on our appetites, noradrenaline pushes the accelerator. So with high noradrenaline, it puts the battery in all of our impulses, all of our passions. So low serotonin, high noradrenaline, we are an impulsive. I am an impulsive person. I'm unable to control my passions and I act on all of my impulses.
Right.
4 hertz, and so we are a very impulsive community. The community that is being low frequency vibrations from our music, the community that's been made an ecology of fear. Why an ecology of fear? Because most of us walk around not knowing what phantom 4 hertz in our brain. And so our noradrenaline is stimulated and it cuts off our serotonin. They can make sure they can stimulate in us our serotonin by producing in us phantom 10 hertz frequencies, but our reality is proof that they have decided to stimulate in us or produce in us a phantom 4 hertz frequency, because every black community or every hood from one end of America to the other is an ecology of fear. The urban area, the suburbs, they are ecologies of peace and flowers and health.
Right.
The urban area is an ecology of fear and stress. It's not an accident. It's by design. It's environmental terrorism. 10 in suburbs, them soccer moms and dads in the suburbs, you see, their brain frequency, you will find a lot of 10 hertz, phantom 10 hertz. Here among us, a lot of phantom 4 hertz.
So Satan recognizes your power and has used your power, the power of your music, to deprive your people of the power of their own being.
Wow.
The music, you may see, nothing is more powerful than the hot rapper and the hot producer. That's God body right there. You make a hot beat, then our very physiology, our very biochemistry submits to your methods. And then with the hot rapper, the lyrics right in that hot beat, you shape black life. Thus we come to atonement.
Yes, sir.
Power, atonement, hip hop. Does the hip hop community have reason to atone? Well, what is atonement? I think I looked it up.
Yes, sir.
Atonement is reparation for a wrong or injury. Reparation, repairing for a wrong committed or an injury caused. Does the hip hop community have reason to atone? I would offer their family very respectfully that the hip hop community does. Why? I was told coming up, to whom much is given, much is required. None has been given more power than you. You can do with no other group. No group of scholars like me can approach the effect that you have on black life. No group of preachers or religious clergy, even as the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, can do what you can do.
Wow.
None have been given what you have been given. To whom much is given, much is required. Hip hop started as a boon to the people. Hip hop started in the service of the people.
Yes, sir.
It had an anti-drug message, it had an anti-violence, an alternative to violence. And then it was co-opted, so we blame Satan for it, but we cannot escape blame. Because today, right now, most of our interest isn't using our music to serve the cause of God. And what is the cause of God? The resurrection of the black man and woman in America. That is God's cause. So everything that's done to help resurrect black people, breathe life back into black people, elevate the quality of life, the righteous quality of life, starting with our own physiology. Everything that serves that objective is serving the objective of God, and everything that hinders that process, anything that instead of elevating our organism, it helps to degenerate our organism. We're not serving the interests of God, we're serving the interests of Satan.